How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to 2A News Now. And here on 2A News Now, you get your Second Amendment news straightforward and to the point. Elizabeth Warren's anti-gun bill. Is gun control on steroids? Senator Elizabeth Warren is one of the most left-leaning lawmakers in American politics. She probably would be the most leftward if Bernie Sanders didn't exist. But unfortunately, he does. So she had to settle for second place. And that's not exactly a prize. As with most Democrats in Congress, she's vehemently anti-gun. She's been anti-gun for a while and has supported pretty much every anti-gun measure that's popped up. That includes the doomed assault weapons ban last week. But now it seems she's got her own anti-gun bill. And this is an absolute train wreck. From the standpoint of constitutionality, Senator Elizabeth Warren, a Democrat from Massachusetts, and Representative Hank Johnson, a Democrat from Georgia, have instituted a legislative monster, the Gun Violence Prevention and Community Safety Act, under the guise of public safety. This bill is not a mere regulation. It is a sledgehammer to the Second Amendment, threatening to crush the constitutional rights that have been a cornerstone for American liberty, by imposing extensive bans on firearms and accessories, mandating prolonged waiting periods, and introducing onerous licensing and registration requirements. The bill significantly impedes the fundamental right to keep and bear arms. Provisions such as banning military-style firearms and subjective bans on firearm accessories set a dangerous precedent of ambiguity and overreach, additionally raising the minimum age for firearm purchases to 21. Creates an illogical paradox where young adults can serve in the military or law enforcement but are denied the right to own firearms for self-defense or even recreational use. The Act's expansion of red flag laws poses a significant threat to individual rights, allowing for gun confiscation without due process. The establishment of a gun licensing and registration system, coupled with the bolstered authority and funding of the ATF, mirrors the tactics of an oppressive regime rather than a democratic government, infringing on the constitutional rights enshrined in the Second Amendment. This act, in essence, represents not just a regulatory measure, but a fundamental reshaping of gun ownership, challenging the core principles of individual freedom and self-defense. Regulators must strike it down. So I've told you how bad this bill is, but what's actually in it? So here is a breakdown of the Gun Violence Prevention and Community Safety Act. The bill would create a federal gun licensing system and require a federal or state-issued firearms license to purchase or own a gun and establish a grant program to help states set up their own systems. Require universal background checks. Close legal loopholes to allow individuals to skirt background check requirements and require background check denials to be reported to law enforcement. Keep guns out of the wrong hands by banning individuals who present safety risks from buying guns, establishing extreme risk protection order systems, and cracking down on gun theft. Ensure guns are used and stored responsibly by raising the minimum age for all gun or ammunition purchases to 21, establishing a 7-day waiting period for the purchase of all guns, strengthening gun storage laws, and banning guns on all school campuses. Keeping weapons of war off our streets by banning military-style assault weapons, lethal gun accessories, and untraceable and undetectable firearms. Crack down on gun trafficking by banning bulk gun purchases and establishing a new law to specifically ban gun trafficking. Improve oversight of gun dealers by strengthening ATF's authority to inspect gun shops, enhancing record-keeping requirements for gun dealers, and repealing harmful appropriations riders that limit law enforcement's ability to trace guns that are used in crimes and hold gun dealers accountable when they break the law. Hold the gun dealers accountable by clarifying that gun manufacturers can be held liable for civil penalties for the harms their guns cause. Authorizing the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission to address safety defects in firearms and firearms accessories, and raising the excise tax on gun sales to 30% and ammunition sales to 50%, and invest in research in community-based gun violence prevention by providing $120 million in annual funding for federal research into gun violence and creating a new grant program to provide $120 million per year for gun violence intervention programs. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it would require gun licenses just to keep what you already own. Mandate how your firearms must be stored, without any regard to personal circumstances. Ban so-called assault weapons, and so much more. And when they say ban bulk purchases, it's basically gun rationing, and at a level that will impact most lawful gun buyers, and not just those who buy dozens upon dozens of guns at a single stretch. Now this is at the same time the Go Safe Act is floating around the Senate, which makes this something as a competing bill. But also it's entirely likely that many who support Warren and Johnson's bill also support Senator Angus King's anti-gun travesty. It's just amazing to me how little these lawmakers are actually paying attention to the Bruen decision. There is nothing in this bill that remotely even looks like something from around the time of the Second Amendment's ratification. But of course, this is Elizabeth Warren and Hank Johnson we're talking about here. Johnson is perhaps best well known for his concern about Guam tipping over due to the Navy having too many people on the island. And of course, Warren is best known for her 1 in 1,024th Native American heritage, validating her claims of being American Indian. Since basic facts and reason have clearly evaded these two for so long, we shouldn't be overly surprised that they would put forth a bill like this and actually think it would survive constitutional muster. If there's good news in this, is this doesn't have a hope in hell of passing. The Senate already made their feelings known on an assault weapons ban that was less restrictive than this abomination. So it's unlikely the filibuster won't come out for this one. And the House isn't even under Democratic control. So there's no chance of it passing there either. But it's telling just how little attention anti-gun lawmakers are willing to pay the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's decision in Bruen invalidates every one of the points in this proposed law. Yet they want to waste their time and effort, and waste Congress's time and effort, to try to push things like this through. It's absolutely ridiculous. How about trying to pass some laws that will help feed the hungry, that will help the homeless, that will help our veterans, that will drive down the ungodly prices that we're having to deal with in this country, and stop trying to fund two different wars that are not even on our soil. That's just for a start. As always, I would really like to hear your guys' thoughts about today's video in the comment section down below. And I appreciate everybody's support with the channel. You guys always crushing it by liking, sharing, and subscribing and hitting those post notifications. And I invite everybody back to watch my next video.